wasn't happy leaving my friends before my freshman year to move into our new home in the country. The house originally belonged to my great aunt, who passed away due to heart complications. She suffered from a stroke in the back room of the home, which was used as a laundry room. The original house was small, only containing a living area, kitchen, and the back room. My great aunt even kept her bed in the kitchen due to the house's 1930s layout. We spent our life savings building a new two-story addition as my stepfather was a carpenter. Unfortunately, he also had a bad addiction with alcohol. While building onto the house, we would come visit to find a concerning amount of beer cans on the ground. My mother and him would scream and yell at one another. It made the environment extremely unsettling, as nobody likes to witness their parents fight. But it also just made the home feel very unwelcoming. It's strange to explain, but it felt as though the house had never experienced those emotions from people. During the building process, we even had a worker claim to see a woman with a blank expression in the kitchen window, even though there wasn't a woman present at the time. Construction came to a halt as finances tightened. We were left with a new two-story addition, but the inside walls were incomplete and the studs were left exposed. In other words, you could see through the rooms. Nonetheless, I set up camp and claimed my new bedroom, grateful to have a roof over my head. While settling into the new living situation, I would personally experience light suddenly coming on in the kitchen, the toilet flushing in the middle of the night, and footsteps. Now, being a non-believer in anything paranormal, my 13-year-old self chalked it up to new and old electricity, foundation settling, the age of the house, etc. As I had given a hand with much of the construction and learned quite a lot, I didn't and still don't consider these items to be anything out of the ordinary. One evening, everyone began the nightly routine of preparing for bed. I went to the restroom that was connected to the back room where my aunt had suffered her stroke. When stepping down into the laundry room, I felt a sudden sense of dread, like something was right on top of me. I figured it could just be the foundation having issues being level, but didn't appreciate the feeling to say the least. I brushed my teeth and went to bed. I had issues shaking that feeling. It was approximately 11 p.m. when I finally laid down. There was a dead silence in the air, as we didn't have ceiling fans or air conditioning available yet, just stagnant air. I was on my back, looking around the studded walls. I could even see into my little sister's room and hear my parents adjusting in bed upstairs. I looked up at the ceiling, finally feeling myself begin to relax from the previous feelings of anxiety I had in the back room. I closed my eyes, and the foot of my bed depressed. The box springs creaked and the covers tightened over me. My heart dropped and I became petrified. It was unmistakable. Someone had just sat on the foot of my bed. The feeling of dread consumed me. I closed my eyes tight, expecting the situation to reverse, but it didn't. I began to pray. My gears started turning as I started thinking about what to do. I could run, but if this presence was faster than I was, I could scream for help, but risk alerting whatever was there. Around me I could hear noises identifiable as my family members, sniffling, coughing, etc. This wasn't a prank. Someone was on my bed, and they weren't leaving. Seconds passed, then seconds turned into minutes. I remember being petrified. If I could pretend to be asleep, maybe the issue would go away. So I didn't move a muscle. I made a decision. I was going to peek. I opened my eyes and let the eyelashes filter anything terrifying I may have seen. Nothing was there. Somehow, this brought me no relief. All night long, I managed to sweat profusely and turned on my side, finally falling asleep from exhaustion. I woke up a couple hours later and immediately noticed a difference in the atmosphere. There was no weight on my bed or sense of dread. I told my mother about it. Her and I are very different people. She is spiritual, and I'm just not completely convinced. She really believed that I was paid a visit by my great aunt. I don't believe that at all. Despite not seeing anything, I am not mistaken in my experience. Something or someone was on my bed for a very long period of time. I truly believe I witnessed evil firsthand, but it wouldn't be the last time. My school always had stories about the paranormal, but I never experienced any of it. This story isn't long, but this is the most unexplainable thing that gets my head scratching really hard. So one day, my friend, who is a girl, went to the ladies' restroom in school. This restroom was filthy and is located pretty close to the classroom. She went there with her friend, and they saw a girl go in there first, but she didn't see her face, but all she could say was the girl looked really, really pale. It's pretty rare to find pale girls around here since my country is a really hot sunny place. When my friend went in there, she heard the door lock, and that is the only stall that is clean. So my friend waited for her to come out, but she didn't hear anything at all, and the pale girl was in there for a very long time. My friend got worried and started knocking on the door asking if she was alright. There was no answer. She asked again, still no answer. Both of them were worried about the girl, and one of them climbed to check out what the girl was doing in there, but when my friend looked inside of it, there was no one in there at all, and the door was still locked from the inside. Both of my friends were terrified because they saw the girl go in there and lock the door. They had to call one of the teachers to break the door open. I was standing outside my house in the driveway during the day working on my vehicle. It was one of my rare days off, so I was happy to finally be able to get some work done on it while the weather was nice. After being outside for an hour or so, this old beat-up truck pulls up behind my car, and I can't help but stop what I'm doing to see who it is. This old guy gets out, probably in his mid to late 60s. He had this breathing tank on, the ones you pull around with you for oxygen. Well, as he gets out, taking his stuff with him, he sees me and he says, "Is anybody home?" I can only assume he was talking about my neighbor's house, so I kindly say, "No, they aren't home right now." I was kind of wishing he had noticed that since there was no vehicles in the driveway, but I decided to be polite and help him out. As soon as I say that, he nods and begins walking up my driveway. He was talking about my house. As soon as I see him heading toward my door, halfway up the drive, I quickly step forward and say, "Oh no, this is my house." He stops and stares at me and says, "But the people told me to come inside." At this point, I can only assume he somehow got confused and thought this was a different house, and whoever it was that he was visiting told him to go inside when he got there. I was beginning to panic a little at this point, and I could feel my annoyance beginning to stir. "No, this is my house," I told him. "There's nobody inside." He stares at me again and shrugs and begins to say as he starts walking to my house again, "But they told me to come inside." I started walking toward him again to cut him off. Who? Who told you to come inside?" My voice was beginning to raise, preparing myself if this came to blows. He points behind me at the window and says, "The people inside." At this point, I started walking straight for him because he wasn't stopping. Then, just as suddenly as it started, he quickly turns around, shuffles away, gets inside his truck, pulls off without a word. I've never seen the man since. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you have a creepy story you'd like to see in one of my videos, please send it to me at docket360@gmail.com. You'll find the link below. Good night.